Welcome back, everybody. Today's review is from the house of Hermes, specifically from the Hermessence line. This is the beautiful Cuir d'Ange. Now, translates literally to lever of the angels, and I actually tried this for the first time a couple of years ago. It was in a bunch of samples that I'd swapped with other people, and when you end up with a bag full of random samples, this come up. I'd never heard of it before. I'd had heard of the line from Hermes. Cuir d'Ange, all I could tell from the name obviously was that leather was involved, but little did I know what a lovely experience it would be. Now, you can tell I like it. So let's spray and talk about what I smell. I have to say, I really like these travel sprays from Hermes. They're a good size. Even the sprays are actually quite good for a little atomizer. Okay, so what I get is the plushest, softest white to beige suede that I can possibly imagine in my mind. There it is surrounded. What I love about this scent is when it opens up, it is suede, but it's suede surrounded in a cloud of essentially floral muskiness, a hint of powder. Now, the floral that I smell actually smells to me a bit of narcissus scent. It's kind of got that, I almost want to say there is like a tangy bite to it, but not quite the same as something like ylang or osmanthus or anything like that. That is what it basically reminds me of. The other thing that is going on here is that there is a touch of heliotrope, which provides this kind of a very, very, very little hint of powder and some almondy facets, right? And almost at the beginning, you're smelling this suede / leather. But when you're thinking about what you're smelling, it almost seems like the suede is an illusion of sorts, and basically only when that veil of cloudy musk and powdery floral sort of dissipates, in the air, you're left with a beautiful, well, it actually turns more from suede into leather. There is, I'm not familiar with Hermes's leather products in that I've never owned anything from them or actually gotten to experience any of their products. There is at least one Hermes boutique here in Melbourne, which I've gone in there to only to smell their perfume, but what I thought about when this dried down on my skin was that this leather accord that has been created here it reminded me of walking into that store. And I might have just made that association because it was the Hermes store, and this is their scent. But I do remember walking into that store and having that leather pervade the air in there. This was created by Jean-Claude Ellena, and again, it's kind of, I don't know how perfumers work in terms of how they tweak their compositions, what they're working on. But for some reason, whenever I think of Jean-Claude Ellena working on something, trying to create a perfume, I imagine that he is the type of perfumer that makes the tiniest and minuscule tweaks to all his composition, much like a painter, you know, working on little strokes here and there until it all comes together. The opposite to, you know, basically the opposite to being a heavy-handed artist. I feel, it feels like when you smell his creations that they all got to that point due to a slow process of small tweaks here and there. And Hermes Cuir smells, it basically smells like that. There is a beautiful etherealness to this fragrance. It is one of the most plushest, expensive smelling suede / leather. It starts off suede, ends up clean, brand new leather. But I think the suede effect in the beginning is all to do with the other notes surrounding that accord, or even creating that accord, and then the leather doesn't really appear until all of those other accords and notes burn off. I think it was released in 2014. It's been around a while, but really of all the Hermessence line that I've smelled so far, I think I've smelled, you know, 3 or 4. This would be the first bottle that I'd get. Well, probably right now the only bottle from that line that I'd get. And they're all pretty good, but this one to me is quite special. It's a leather fragrance, yes, but if you're looking for just a classy, soft, light leather, light in that the first time I wore this was I distinctly remember wearing this on a hot day in the summertime, and it worked really well. You probably don't want to overspray it, but it just was blooming off my skin, and I was really surprised that a leather fragrance could work that well in the warm weather. So I get about 6 to 8 hours longevity on my skin. I think it projects reasonably well, maybe arm's length for the first hour or so, then it softens down as you kind of expect this would. But I really can't, if you love leather and suede, I can't recommend enough that you test this out from Hermes Cuir. I hope you enjoyed that review, and I will see you all soon. Bye.